Well, folks, it's the moment I've all been waiting for. The fat guy has arrived. Grandpa Grungy and I opened the box just a few minutes ago. Grandpa Grungy, I want you to meet your grandson, your adopted foster. Yeah, anyway. So I have some idea, I have some thoughts about this. If you don't know, I've got 4 Fatboys. And this one over here is the fat guy. So I got 1958, 59, 59, and then Grandpa Grungy is a 60. So I've been able to look at the fat guy compared to all those. This is supposed to be a 1960 one, and there are some subtle differences. First of all, the weight. It's a lot lighter than the 1960 Grandpa Grungy. It looks very, very, very similar. There's some slight things that are off, like the shape of this little thing on the end is a little bit different than the real one. The knurling right here does not go all the way like it does on the 59 and see how the knurling kind of stops right there. It goes all the way. So that's a little minor thing that either they didn't catch or they wanted to do that so that you wouldn't be fooled. So maybe that's why they did it. There's also no writing down here. It doesn't say Gillette. It doesn't have all the markings on the bottom to let you know what year it was made. It's very shiny, of course. It feels... first of all, the weight. So the gold one, the 1958, is 80.2 grams. This one is 63.8. Both 59s weigh 80.2 grams. So all these weigh 80.2 grams. The 58, the 59. Now the 60, Grandpa Grungy actually weighs a little bit less. He's 78.4 grams. But this one is still 63. So this is 78.4. This is 63.8. And you can tell it doesn't feel as well made as these vintage ones. It feels a little bit like a heavier Weishi razor. It looks the part, but it doesn't quite feel that way. I haven't shaved with it yet. This will be the first time I shave with it. I'm sorry if I'm rambling. I also weighed the Slim, which was 71 grams. The Gillette Adjustable Slim. This one's 63. That was 71. The Black Beauty from 1970 is 69 grams. This is 63. So still heavier. Black Beauty's heavier. And then just because I wanted to try the Rockwell, which costs $100, this one costs $109 right now. This one is heavy, baby. This one's 122.1 grams. This is 63. So this is a heavy razor. I think that's part of the reason why I love it. So it's now time to shave. So I noticed there was a little blemish on one side. This is nothing you should worry about. Don't be one of those people like, I sent it back because there was a blemish. Like, it's manufacturing. They're not going to be perfect, all right? But I did notice that there seems to be a little bit more play in the razor itself. Like it's a little bit more wobbly. Like you can tell it's not as solidly built as these old ones. I mean, these still feel tight after 60 years. So, you know, the manufacturing these days is nowhere near the level that it used to be. And then the last thing is that the adjustable dial doesn't move as smoothly as the old ones. And once again, I know there's 60 years of using the dial on these. But the 9, it goes from 1 to 9. And the 9 doesn't want to seat. It doesn't want to get in there. So that's you know, a minor quibble. And then it's hard to get back out. But otherwise, it's very close. $109 right now. I think they said it's going to go up to $149, perhaps. Maybe that's just a marketing thing. All right. Enough yakking. Let's shave with it. I'm going to put it on 7, and I'm going to use a feather blade because that's what I'm used to doing on Grandpa Grungy. Here's the feather. Oh, it also comes with a little, kind of a little skinny case and a little card that says hello in a cardboard box. And it is warranted for a year, I believe. Is that right? 1 year? Yeah, for 1 year from the date of delivery. So if yours breaks or if yours is, you know, actually messed up in some way, you can send it right back and they'll send it to you. Global Shave Club Fat Guy with a feather blade in it. This will be the first time I put a blade in it. And I'm going to tighten it down. And it works almost exactly like a Fatboy where you do that last little bit. You know, it feels fine. It looks fine. It's very shiny, but you can tell it's, you know, a replica. All right. Took a shower, did my hair. Going to put some hot water up here. I shaved with an electric razor yesterday just because I don't remember why. I just was being lazy. I don't know. I'm going to use some space soap today. Bob is still making it on his Etsy store, so if you want some space soap, he's got some Christmas spice. Did I say that right? Christmas spice scent. I don't know. And I'm going to use my this little synthetic brush to lather up, but it's not about the brush today. It's about the Fatguy. I looked at Ken Surf's review and Paul H. I kind of skimmed through Paul H. And kind of got an idea what they were thinking about it, but I don't remember what they liked it is what they said. I think I'm a little more critical, just because why wouldn't I be? Why wouldn't I be? I spent $89 on this one. It was the initial offering back in March. Oh my God, it was the last thing I did right before we all got into lockdown quarantine. So another reason why I think we're almost done. We're going to be at the other side of this thing. Anyway, so yeah, 89 bucks is what I spent for it, but now it's 109. I'm just going to lather like I normally do. Nothing different. It's a little dry. Put a little bit more water in here. Dip some water. And then add some more. You can always add. It's much harder to take away. That's pretty thick. All right. Here we go. It does feel like a Weishi razor. It looks like, you can tell the little imperfections and waviness in the metal right there. It reminds me of a Weishi razor. It's got more stuff going on because it's adjustable. Ooh, it feels good. That feels good so far. So hopefully all my little nitpicky gripes, which I'm only doing to be devil's advocate, will be swept away once I see how it shaves. But of course, there's the matter of the price tag. $109 isn't chicken feed for most people, especially these days. And I would think that you'd be able to get yourself a real Fatboy if you wanted one, a vintage one, for less than $109 if you're lucky. Of course, then you got to worry if it's going to be in shaving condition or not, and you got to send it off or something, and then, you know. Be best if you could find one in an antique store. I think that's where I found my gold one, the 1958. This feels really good, though. This actually is feeling very good. Wow, this is actually shaving very well. That's good. I just wish it was heavier. From what I understand, the old ones were made with brass. And then plated. I can't remember what they're exactly plated with, nickel plating or something. Whatever the old style was. So I wish they'd made this, you know, a little bit closer. 63 grams versus 78.4 for Grandpa Grungy and 80 for the other ones. So that's a fairly large difference, and you can tell the difference. But, you know, it's a cool idea. I love this sort of thing. I love replicas. I love when people, like I've got a guitar that is almost an exact replica of the one John Lennon used in 1964. And the company had long since moved on from making their guitars like that. And then they realized people want that one, and so they made it. And I absolutely love it. But then there's also the thing of, and actually it's a great guitar. It's handmade here in the United States, Rickenbacker. But then you've got the guitars that are relic. You know, they look like they're from the 50s. They've got all the wear marks and the dirt and the cigarette burns, and it's fake, you know. So it's like, what would you rather play guitar? A 1959 Les Paul or a replica 59? It'll probably be a pretty good guitar. And I think that's what I'm finding with this. It doesn't have the mojo that a vintage razor does. For me, and maybe for you, you don't care. But for me, I love that part of it. I love the vintage. I'm just kind of sentimental that way. The history of it. Just thinking that somebody shaved with Grandpa Grungy on the morning that John F. Kennedy was assassinated, or when men walked on the moon, or, you know, disco was invented. It's been around since 1960, and I love that. I think that's so cool. It was somewhere in somebody's medicine cabinet, like it's in mine now. All right. I tell you what, that was a great first pass. On 7, with a feather blade, and normally I don't dial down, so I'm not going to dial down now. I'm going to just do what I normally do and take it off with the second pass. You know it'll be a true replica of a 1960 Fatboy if it nicks me like Grandpa Grungy does. Now, it's called Global Shave Club. I'm assuming they ship globally. So if it's just out of your price range, if you're in the UK or other parts of Europe or, you know, Australia or wherever, and you just can't get your hands on a vintage Fatboy, this might be a way to kind of scratch that itch for the time being. Because it actually is shaving very nicely. I just wish it had that little bit more weight. Maybe you won't care. All right. Yeah, so this space soap that Bob makes on his Etsy store, there'll be a link below. He made this specially for me. It's the Afterburner with extra menthol. He said he's going to send some of his Christmas spice. I still have his Christmas scent from last year, which I used not too long ago. All right. And here's the other thing. You know, as I say all this, like saying, oh, I wish it was heavier. If you've never held a Fatboy, you're not going to know the difference. 10 grams, what? 15 grams, 14 whatever grams. You're not going to know that. You're not going to know. And you're not going to care. That's what I say. Don't be one of those anoraks that has to complain about everything. Just let it slide a little bit. I mean, look what they did. Look what Global Shave Company did. They recreated one of the most beloved commercially made razors ever. I mean, that's pretty cool. And they're still doing it with other ones too. Like the red tip and the something else and the whatever. But this one seems to have the most engineering in it because it's got the most moving parts. Yeah, look at that. It's the exact same size and height and everything else. All the proportions are dead on. The only difference was the knurling and a little bit of the shape of that end of the head. But like I said, if you're not A and Bing it side by side, you're not going to know. Third pass. This thing is shaving beautifully, actually. Smooth. It's really smooth. You know, and also, you know, feather blade is great too, but it's actually doing a good job. I'm kind of concentrating right now. Sorry if I'm not yakking like I normally do. Kind of just trying to keep it the same way I always do, so there's be a decent comparison. I got a couple little nicks. All right, it's getting closer to a real 1960. You know what I'm thinking about doing? I'm thinking about busting out. Speaking of relic guitars, making them look old, I've got half a mind to get a little bit of the acrylic paint out and make this thing look like Grandpa Grungy. First, I'm not going to wash it for a while. Then I'm going to get a little bit of a greenish acrylic paint wash on it, you know? Make the Sinatra Lennon signature model Grandpa Grungy. Buy yours soon at your local Winn-Dixie. They still have Winn-Dixie? All right, there we go. All right, I'm just going to clean up like I always do. I always kind of feel for these same places that I get. Right over here, under my nose. Yeah, I mean, like I said, the proportions are all exactly the same. So it behaves exactly like a real one. Don't want to do too much. Don't want to get razor burn. All right, let's put you down there. Wash off. I got a couple of nicks, so let me get the old alum stick out from Shave Nation. Good old Gillette Fatboy over there. If you use Instagram, you can subscribe to me there. I just posted a couple of pictures of all my Fat Boys together, as well as something I found in the grocery store this morning, which shocked and disgusted me. So check out Instagram, at Sinatra Lennon. Real easy. Ooh, it burns a little bit. It burns. It burns so good. All right, let's see. I'm going to use... You got to wait for a minute when you use the alum. So, that thing's shaved beautifully. Great job. And I could see that already it's getting a little bit of a film on it. It's starting to look a little bit more authentic. You got to take some of that shine off. It's a little too shiny, you know? This is what we're going for here, folks. I'm trying to... Look at that. Grandpa Grungy. He's going to begrudgingly welcome him into the fold, I think, with all the rest here. Begrudgingly, you know. He's a curmudgeon. He lets me know it. All right. Time for some aftershave. Well, I'll tell you, 109 bucks. If you can afford it and you can't get a Fat Boy for whatever reason, I'd say go for it. But at the same time, the Rockwell is $100. The 6S in this, not the colored one, but the one that's in the normal stainless steel color, because they have red and blue. This is $100, and this is the most fantastic razor I've ever used. This is also a very good razor for $109. I don't know. I'm torn. I'm torn, but I'm also very lucky and fortunate that I have actual Fat Boys from 3 different years. I'm going to use the Foire Auch Snog from my friends over at Executive Shaving. Check them out, executive-shaving.co.uk. Oh, man, I tell you what, that's pretty good. I was going into this after I got it, and I was like, it's a little wobbly. I mean, it's solid when it's tightened down. It's not shaking. But when it's butterflies are open, then it gets a little, but maybe it's supposed to. Let's see what I do if I do with Grandpa Grungy. So he's solid. Yeah, he's not as much, but there you go. Finally, Fat Guy from Global Shave Club. 109 bucks. Check it out. They even got that little thing in there, whatever that little clicker is. I was wondering if they were going to do it, and they did. It'd be fascinating to see a documentary on how they did it, because they did a pretty dang good job. Yeah, there's the bottom. There it is. All right, everybody. Well, thanks for joining me. This was fun. I hope you have a great weekend, and I will see you all on Monday. Bye.